Well, hello. Derby Jack here. Now, I haven't been on lately because I've been sitting back. I'm sort of on a hiatus right now. I'm working on some music and stuff, but I'm not feeling all that well. Spiritually, things are kind of weird, and I'm just doing the best I can, getting through this winter. You can't do that. Can't start my Tahoe, Tennessee Tahoe. Don't want to run. And I bought this charger, but the battery, it's a good battery, but it just doesn't want to hold because it's like 20s and 19, and it just doesn't. So anyway, you know, I know people don't agree with me. I understand that me and other people, we're trying our best. And I know it's very hard to believe, but just because what's going on in government and everything is moving so smooth, this this Dodge thing with Musk is they're getting into everything, now they're getting into post office and the IRS. I'm not going to go through it all. You all know, you've been watching the videos, you see the news. I was talking to my buddy, Ron, and Rodney, and legendary Rodney here, Lore, here in Ohio, Heath, and we talk a lot about this stuff, and it just seems like we're both, perplexed because what's happening is that if there is a deep state, or if there is a new world order, that there is a group, whether it's a secret society, whatever you want to call it, okay, is out there, and they have their will according to, if we look at the Bible and we look at the truth that where we may be, if we are in Revelation, that what's going on in the world is being shown through the Word of God. If you look, if you're willing to. And so all this smoothness is just like, if one man is capable of coming in and unraveling everything the deep state has done, whether it's the last administration or even goes further than that, if it goes back to the secret societies that go all the way back to Babylon, okay, hundreds of years they've been setting all this up, that one man is going to unravel all of this. Now, I don't want to say something to make you fear or hate me even more, but being a truthful man and working in a spirit, have you all considered, and even if you look at your little Simpsons predictions, okay, if you will, that apparently that they've even shown that, people like Putin may end up being horizontal, if you know what I mean, and or possibly that in the before the end of this year, 2025, that the possibility, and I'm not wishing this, and I'm just hypothetically thinking that what if Donald Trump, our president, ends up something possibly happens and everything unravels. So all I'm saying is that, and then who would take over in that scenario? Would it technically be the vice president, that other guy, or would it be the directives of Elon? Would he be the technically, possibly Antichrist? I'm just throwing that out there. I just want you to consider that things that have been so set up for so long, and you have to understand, a lot of these things have been there. I don't know how anybody can't consider. I said it as a joke before, but think, people are going through an audit every year. Those areas do get audited, okay? Whether you believe it or not, there is people who look at it. Now, if it's in Washington and it's in these particular, wherever they are, types of buildings and sectors or whatever, that both sides are privy to all this information, okay? Democrat as well as Republican. So if the Democrats had done something that would be considered not quite right, the Republicans were just as privy of that information as they make it sound like one side had technically hid everything from the other side. No, both sides see what's going on. Okay? Don't think that they don't, okay? Now, they understand what left hand is doing as well as the right hand is, they know. And believe it or not, they work together in some areas, whether you want to believe that or not. If you're a diehard Republican, no, they're the enemy. And you're a diehard Democrat, no, they're the enemy. I mean, either way. Now, in saying all that, I'm not going to go any further in that. But I just want you to think about how smooth everything is going and the promissory things that they're promising. Now money could be given, and I as many others, and I'm not a numbers man, but from a logical point of view, I can understand them stopping any type of payments to where they're going to not give payments to these certain organizations. Like I was saying, I think I got off track. That if you're going to hide something, like you don't sit there and put on the books, so many condoms at $6 million or whatever it is. Wouldn't you say maybe plastic or rubber baggies for military bombs or what, something that would, maybe not get somebody's eye. And that's what they did. They kept bringing up all the writing of what they did. Nightclub this or blah, blah, this. Exactly what if you're going to hide something, you don't exactly say what you're going to do. You put a cover story, right? I mean, I'm just saying I could be stupid, but I'm thinking that if I was doing something and I didn't want people to know exactly what I was doing in that particular, that I would do everything I can to hide it. So I would put a cover story. Instead of saying that they spent all this money in Las Vegas and spent it on whores or something, I'd say they had a business meeting and we had to spend all night with and entertain a business, say so, to where it's not, but no. What they did was they're saying a list. That brings up questions to me. I mean, it just seems too easy. That they got caught of all this waste that they're doing. I know it sounds good in face value, but you got to go deeper than face value, people. Like I said, I'm not a numbers man. But to me, I was getting to the point where they've stopped payments that they're not going to do anymore. They're not, so they stopped that. But in those areas, they haven't brought any money back in. Okay? So stopping payments, yes, means that whatever tax money and whatever's in the coffers, stay in the coffers to do what you will. So yes, when you look at it from that point of view, you add up all the money you would save at the end of your trimester or year or whatever, however they do it, and you would look at all the money that would not have gone out after you were stopped it, which would be in the coffers. But in those areas, no money has been brought back in the coffer. So understand that. Now, if they go and appropriate from other states monies that were sitting there, you know about all that, then if they bring it back in, that's money coming back in the coffers, you see? Now, there's another way that they won't do. The people who caused all this and the people who are, whether in the Democrat side or the Republican side or business people or corporations or even other countries, if they would be found that they had something to do with getting money unappropriated or appropriated wrongly or what have you, or anybody, that if it's found, that they themselves should pay it back to the coffer. Do you see where I'm coming? Like I said, I'm not a numbers man. I'm just a logical man. And I'm looking at a system here. And I have some knowledge when it comes to logistics and systems. So to me, this kind of system seems kind of shady, that people are not being told something. But like I said, you guys want to bring back money, then make the people pay who took the money in the first place, if you can prove it by whatever receipts and things that you find. So if this ever does get to the Musk people, that might be something you might want to try. I mean, but in saying all that, okay, I want to read this from the end of Ecclesiastes 12. Okay, let me start from 12:12, during the end here. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of flesh. Okay, 13. Let us hear and conclude. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of a man. For God shall bring every work unto judgment, whether under judgment, with every secret thing. Listen to this. Whether it is good, it be good, or whether it be evil. Now, I want you to understand. Let me read this on 14 again. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Now, think about this. Every secret thing, some people do secret things that are good, and some people do secret things that are bad. Now, if something is good, sometimes you would like to know, well, why would they want to keep certain things secret if it's good for us? Sometimes there's another alternative down the road that we don't understand or don't know about. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is that when it comes to God and understanding how God reads man and reads his heart, that in the end, God will judge the deeds of the people. Now, whether people had done things with the illusion of being good and may have, in the end, had evil in mind, then that will be judged for what it is by God himself. Now, if their secret was for a good cause and needed to be secret for whatever reason, also will be judged in the same way for its intent. And see, that's what it all comes down to. Those people in leadership, what are their intent altogether? For a man can sit here and get the ear of the people by just how they speak. And also their effervescence can keep the attention, as we know our leader is capable of doing. As a showman, he is very well versed in how to keep the attention of the crowd. As a businessman, yes, this man is very well versed in all areas and genres of technical and business, the nitty-gritties of building and also logistics himself in the areas of corporate running businesses and things. He is very well versed in, being able to work from one side to another, to be able to negotiate and be able to get his way and put his foot in a door and keep it open, is capable of dialect with other nations and other belief systems, is capable of all these things, is capable of grabbing the hearts of those who are spiritual and religious, is capable of being able to bend the backs of those who prior no one was able to bend. Yes, this man, this president, this self-proclaimed king, yes, he is all this and even more. But my question still stands. All of these type of people in high places, for all the good that they do, what is the intent in the end? For we all know from the spiritual and from the Word of God that we are reaching that pinnacle of the end. For this man is also pushing a digital dollar. When this becomes a reality, and also the AI, the technology, he wants to make us all part of this. And he would say for the betterment of humanity. This is for you, my people, as I would pretty much in some ways hear Donald Trump speak. He wants your adoration, actually more than he needs riches himself. This is a danger. For a man who has everything, okay, this is where vanity of vanities come in. For a man who has everything and wants nothing, I do remember something that this man, this president of ours, had stated in an interview when asked, do you pray? I have a good relationship. I'm paraphrasing. And when asked, do you ask forgiveness? I don't have a relationship with God that way. I don't think of God that way. Paraphrasing again. This is what comes from this man. So he fears no repercussions for what he thinks, what he says, or what he does. And like I said, it is still out, the intents of the heart. For all the things he does good, what is the intent at the end? The other, I don't want to go too deep, this character, this Musk. Now, if Trump is proclaiming himself as king, as Nero, if we all remember, Nero, the one Nero, ended up proclaiming all the power and bringing all the power onto him. Instead of having, different, counties or whatever they had in so-called Rome, okay, if we look at the history that way, that the provinces and stuff, that he accumulated all the power to him, that everybody had to make decisions according to him, okay, what he would say, major decisions. That's what Trump wants. He will take down all those other areas, and he will have the accumulation instead of delegation. Now he will accumulate instead of delegating all these decisions in a small circle. They'll be delegated, but in that small circle. What is the intent of the hearts of this man? This Elon, this, so many things I could even say spiritually of the name Elon and all it spiritually, you have to do that yourself. But he comes on the scene as if Trump is a Nero or Trump is a king, then he had a vice president, yes, but it seems that his earl, his champion, his warrior is this Elon. So he comes in as basically, like I said, his front man, his side man, his warrior, his magician, if you will. his conqueror. Okay? So he comes in on the scene, doing a lot of good things, doing it for free, not even getting a paycheck. All the things what is the intent of the heart? We know some other things that he's doing that we're not agreeing with. I'm not into no Neuralace or Neuralink or whatever. I'm not putting a chip in my head. I don't care about where the technology is going. I'm not into it. You know, what is the intent of his heart in the end? If Trump himself does not regard God in his heart, and I am going to end with you all understanding something. For you people who are Christian, okay, you national Christians, you Trump Christians, do you not understand that Paula White is a witch? She is not a spiritual leader in the positive. She is a witch. She does not belong being a minister as a woman. I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but herself is a witch. She is not capable of being a minister of God because she's possessed. I have seen her on stage. I have heard her rhetoric. She is not a person of God. For him to pick her as a spiritual leader is an error. And it goes back to this. What is the intent of her heart? Which means for him to pick her, what is the intent of Trump's heart? I leave you with that. Pray for those people who need to be prayed for. Things are going to get rough. Be prepared. Be ready. And, understand the AI, the digital dollar is coming. Our bills are going to go away. There's a new way of life coming, and we're going to have to navigate these waves. Some people are going to drown. Some people are going to find it hard to stay above water. Other people are going to fold so they can just survive. These days are coming. It may not be tomorrow, may not be next week, but it's coming. So like I said, pray, pray, pray. And in saying that, Derby Jack out, and I hope to see you all on the other side. Oh, before I go, I got a new song. I'm getting ready to come out, and just be ready to listen to it on my music channel, Derby Jack Christian Blues. Derby Jack out. See y'all on the other side.